It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love television, feature films, superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike.
And this week, Star Wars fans start the hunt for Ben Solo. They'll find it. They're going to find it.
Out of freaking nowhere for me. I was all over Chris this week. I was just like, have you heard about this? Why haven't you sent me anything about this? And I feel like it wasn't real until it was real.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you see one post online, you're like, oh, this is just one crazed fan. And then all of a sudden, there's things literally flying over my house.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not only that, but it's just one of, it's like, to me, it's Snyderverse, but I'm going to call it the Soloverse, is what it feels like. Like, these are the fans, the things those guys would do at this time. I mean, they could be in the right here. I don't know, but we'll talk about that in the show. Yeah.
I'm so excited to talk about it because this is the type of news that I think I thrive on, and I love that we have a podcast so we can just talk about the weirdness of this.
Yeah, the things we don't know until NDAs run out, I guess, is the fun part. The DCU sets up Salvation Run. We're going to talk about what that could mean and what it, if anything, at all, at the end of the day. Fantastic Four's Disney Plus date has been revealed for those waiting to catch it on streaming, which is later than I thought it would be, but that's whatever. I don't make those choices, Mike. I just live in the world where they exist and more.
I'm gonna be real. I thought Fantastic Four was already out on Disney Plus. I didn't realize people hadn't watched it yet, which does explain why I really haven't heard a lot of people talking about the movie. It kind of hasn't had its second revival like Thunderbolts had on Disney Plus. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it was it's like PVOD, but it's that window's a little longer, I think, for this one than it has been. But there's nothing else Marvel related for a while, so I think that's probably it. But Mike, you've been playing. I've been playing. I didn't talk about this last week. I bought Battlefield 6 last weekend, and I know you're not a probably a Battlefield guy, but Battlefield was other than Halo, Battlefield was my shooter back in the day. My first computer for college I bought, made sure I could at least play Battlefield 2 on it, and that was it.
Funnily enough, I could play Halo right now in my household.
No, you can't.
With a PlayStation 5.
You can't. Not right now. Next year.
I thought. Why is everybody talking about it this week? Was it announced?
So we'll jump into that. So Battlefield 6, Halo. That's my other thing. So yes, Halo Campaign Evolved, which is an Unreal Engine 5 version of the original Halo, plus extra missions, new voice recordings from the original cast, upgraded graphics. 4-player co-op campaign was announced at the Halo Championship this weekend, and it is coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5 next year.
Honestly, this is probably the pivot they have to make. If you want something to compete in this world of gaming, you kind of have to pivot it in this idea of a metaverse, kind of how Fortnite does it. You can play Fortnite literally anywhere, and they get all of the money from all the 12-year-olds. I'm pretty sure Halo would love to do that at some point in time.
Well, so I do think it's more of a, maybe not necessarily Halo, but the idea of a shooter, a multiplayer game has to be on everything, because you're going to talk about a game here that's only on PlayStation, but that's a single player game, and I think that's that works for console exclusives, is whenever it's just hey, it's just one game thing. But when you are a multiplayer game and people on PlayStation can't play, and my friends couldn't play Halo with me, we go do something else, right, at the end of the day. So I agree with that. But Halo is out. They are probably now, Campaign Evolved does not have multiplayer. We'll go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm pretty sure they're going to announce a different multiplayer game. They'll be Halo Campaign and Halo Multiplayer will live separately, kind of going forward. So I expect that. But Battlefield 6 I've been playing, and I just when we talk about video games and multiplayer games, it's always like, oh, a lot of rounds, a lot of shooters. Like there's a lot of battle royales lately. But Battlefield 6 is one of those games where like you take points on the map and that ebbs and flows back and forth, right? You never know what points are going to be available or like which ones you have to defend. And one of the things I was explaining to my wife, she's like, this game just looks different. I'm like, it's because it's like a cinematic experience, because you can literally go from like healing tanks to blowing up buildings to shooting other people, make holes in walls to make your own like breach points. And I've had a really, I mean, I'm not gonna talk about it, like not the notes here, but I've had a really good time playing it. And like I'm just very excited for like a multiplayer game where I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel sweaty like all like Call of Duties and like Halos, or not Halo, like Halo
it's
and
new,
Fortnite
Chris.
sometimes.
It's
yeah.
not sweaty yet. Give it time.
It will be, because
it'll get extremely sweaty.
yeah, well, like whenever it dies down. But it's been a good time. It's got good reviews, and I'm excited to play it. For anyone who may have lapsed on Battlefield, the past few entries have been meh. So
that's what somebody needs to invent. I guess what I'm thinking in my head is an anti-sweat mechanic, which is essentially probably like what Mario Kart does, in a way of like you're at the back of the pack, you get only blue shells.
Right.
I would love somebody to create some sort of gameplay or something where like even like a novice, can at least contend with somebody who's,
They should
streaming it professionally.
Yeah, well, they should have like a they have ranking systems and like what's it called, MMR, but like they should have like a sweat ranking. Like they know you're doing too good, and just immediately
Literally, it should
throw you into something else.
Put sweat detectors on the controller. The sweatier it is, like the further you are from people.
Yeah, get them out of here with that, because like I've had a couple rounds where I got tossed, and so I backed out, started a new round, and I was like, okay, I feel better. But it's been a good time. Mike, you've been living Japanese, feudal Japan, it sounds like, this week.
Chris, specifically the Edo period, I did a little research because I finished watching that show that I was catching up on, Banshee, which was the Anthony Starr? Is that the guy who plays Homelander?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, it's not Martin Starr. Totally different stars in Hollywood.
Both in TV shows right now, though, because he's in Tulsa King.
Yeah. But I wrapped up Banshee. I was like, okay, I need something else to watch. Why not go watch Shogun? Because I feel like it's going to pair very nicely with me playing Ghost of Yotei. So then I started thinking, when does all of this stuff happen in history? This is all kind of like loosely based on the history of the actual country, Japan. So I did like a little bit of Googling, and I was like, okay, the first game, Ghost of Tsushima, when does this happen? Do a little Googling. It says like 1200. I was like, okay, that means nothing to me. I don't know much about Japanese history, but okay, 1200. Okay, when does Ghost of Yotei happen? 1600. I was like, okay, so these characters aren't going to cross over whatsoever. I was like, oh, maybe like I'll get further into the game and I'll run into the protagonist from the first game. No, he's long dead. We're talking like hundreds of years here. So then I came across like a 20-minute YouTube video, which was like the entire history of Japan, which you can't fit the entire history of any country into 20 minutes, but it was really helpful.
But Mike did. He did it.
Yeah, it was really helpful just kind of understanding kind of like the historic like milestones of a country. And once you get to like the 1600s, like literally 1600, like 00, that first 3 years of that century were apparently like huge for Japan. That's where we get like, I guess, a ton of like media about the country. Like that is when like samurais and the whole like country is like exploding with like innovation and like trade, but also shutting down. But don't listen to my history lesson because I don't retain anything anytime I watch anything about history. But basically, Ghost of Yotei and the show Shogun are happening like almost in like parallel, it feels like, at the same time. So it's wild watching this like very like Emmy award-winning television show and then shifting over to Ghost of Yotei. It's kind of fun. I've never really done anything quite like that, of like being immersed in it and then switching over to a television show about the same time period. But both are great. I mean, Shogun's awesome. It's kind of filling this this gap that when what was that show I talked about months ago? It was that Tokyo Vice, where that got canceled. But it was like really fun watching a drama just like drenched in like amazing Japanese actors, and I feel like I'm getting a lot of that in Shogun. And then Ghost of Yotei is just fun. Like I started progressing the plot a little too quickly, and I realized I left a lot behind in another part of the map. So now I'm just in like casual exploration mode, where I'm just like, hey, what's that over there? I climb up some rocks, found like a hidden shrine, going around getting some different armor. So I'm just like in chill, like laid back mode, just exploring the island here, having a great time. So yeah, if anybody out there wants to create that combo, I highly recommend it. Shogun, which is streaming on Disney Plus / Hulu / FX, whatever, I don't know, whatever bundle
It's
you have
Hulu.
cobbled together.
It's just Hulu
Go watch,
now. I don't think it's
go watch
FX.
Shogun.
Yeah.
And then Ghost of Yotei on PlayStation 5, soon to be right next to a tile for Halo next year, which is wild to me.
It'll be fun. I mean, I'm pretty excited about Halo, to be completely honest. I'm waiting for the multiplayer thing, but like the fact they had like a 13-minute gameplay release, and I was very excited. I was like, I watched it like twice, just kind of passively. I'm like, this takes me back about, how many years now? 25 years to the original Halo. I did just see, it was awful. There's an article, Mike, about IMAX releases next year. Star Wars 50th anniversary in 2027 is coming back to IMAX. I'm like, 50 years of Star Wars. I can't believe that. Anyway, it's Halloween week. Next week we will be talking, and we will actually have a time change, and it'll be a new month next month. But obviously here in the last final, I guess, days of October, I've been trying to fit in some more Halloween related movies. As soon as November hits, those are kind of out the window a little bit. But I watched the original Ghostbusters last night. And that movie, I always forget how fast it goes, because it's not like the history of the Ghostbusters. You don't get to see them start up. They literally are like, hey, we see this library ghost. Are things, real? They get kicked out of the college, and then the next thing you know, they're running a business, getting ghosts across town. It was really kind of fun to revisit that a little bit. Just kind of watch it, like watching the stop motion animation, like the actual things. Like there was no CGI, but they composite the ghost over the scenes, and then also like trying to not readily reconcile it. But do you remember Ghostbusters was the Afterlife, the first one of the newer two movies, where they like
That was the one by Reitman's son, right? That directed it.
Yeah. The last, I think both of the last two were, but it wasn't the Frozen one where they're back in New York. This one's like they're out of the mines or whatever, and like they bring back Gozer, and as like, I think it was like Olivia Wilde was dressed up as Gozer, and you're kind of referencing this original one. It was fun to kind of hear some of those little details, because obviously we're not like Ghostbusters diehards, unless it's Ecto Cooler, and then by God, we're diehard Ecto Cooler fans.
Gimme.
But it was that I've got the real Ghostbusters on my media server to watch. It's just kind of interesting how this little kind of campy movie kind of took off, despite how rapey Bill Murray is in that movie. He's like very rapey in that movie. It was a different time, sure. But he's like, it's weird. But anyway, it's a good time. I Ghostbusters. I need to watch the second. The second one's the one I watched the most, probably growing up. I think it was on like TBS or TNT, like every other weekend. It felt like
we are definitely that generation where the second one hit stronger. A similar generation where like Jurassic Park 2 is really exciting to us because we were kids and we just wanted the action figures and we liked all the stuff we see on screen. Yeah. I think honestly every young generation has that, right? You market the sequel towards the kids. They buy all the stuff, they run out and they get the Happy Meals, and I guess now they're getting popcorn buckets. But yeah, Ghostbusters 2, just like that.
I gotta watch. Yeah, I need to watch. I don't know if I'll watch it next. I don't know if it'll be something I have to jump into this week. But I'm still. If anyone has any Halloween spooky season movies, let me know. We're gonna be wrapping it up here, I guess, on Friday with that. Then jumping into obviously the only Thanksgiving movie you need to watch, which is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for November. Just repeat again. Let's jump into some news for this week. First up, Constantine 2, in case anyone hadn't remembered, this is supposedly in works with Keanu Reeves, and I forget his guy's name. It's like Bonaventura or something like that. Lorenzo de Bonaventura or something like that. I'm butchering it. But anyways, they're working on the script. They have the movie, they're working on it before they pitch it to DC. So, Keanu Reeves has confirmed that drafts of the script are in the work. They've been working through the draft scripts, but Gunn hasn't read any script yet, so they've got to get it nailed down before they go and present it to James Gunn, who apparently has full DC approval. So, surprised James Gunn hasn't wanted to write the script yet, based on everything else he does over there.
I think he has a version of like every character like mapped out on the back of his head, and it just comes down to, does he have the physical time left in his fingertips to write the script? So obviously, I'm excited for anyone else to pen a script. If James Gunn wants to direct somebody else's writing, I'm totally fine with that too.
Well, like we talked about last week, if he wants to be co-president or whatever, he needs to not be so, I guess, hands-on, fingers in. Like Kevin Feige's not directing, the next Iron Man movie, right, or something like that, or the Avengers movie. But either way, I'm excited. I enjoyed the original Constantine. It's been a very long time since I've watched it. It is a dark movie. Back when cigarette smoking in films was still cool, a lot like Ghostbusters. They smoke a lot of cigarettes in Ghostbusters, but obviously, Keanu Reeves was always like, oh, this isn't Constantine. He's a blonde British guy, but he just, I don't know, he just kind of picks it up and rolls up his sleeves literally in this movie and just has a good time. And Rachel Weisz, coming off the Mummy Returns, just brings some more, I guess, uplifts this movie probably more than it probably could have been with any other actors in the time. So, I don't know. That's kind of a spooky movie. Maybe I'll watch that this week for Halloween. I forgot.
Yeah, that's a little spooky.
Yeah, it's a little gods and demons, but anyway, so Constantine 2, hopefully we get some updates in the next couple of years for that. But moving in the same vein as DC, Peacemaker, I don't know if you heard about this, but DC has filed a trademark for the phrase Salvation Run. Salvation Run, by trademark, I mean like movies, action figures, everything under the sun you can trademark, they filed for this phrase. Salvation Run is technically a comic book that already exists, but you may know Salvation as the universe Peacemaker was left in at the end of season 2. This is why the movies are always great for the comic books, right? Because I think the listeners know that me and you both lean more into the Marvel events, the runs. We've been all in over that history many times, but DC's a slight bit of a blind spot for us. So, you start dipping into the comic books and you're like, oh, yeah, there's all of these different runs happening over on DC that I personally never knew about. And this is why it's nice that we're kind of having a new comic book universe getting kickstarted, because there's so much more to mine over there. Yeah. And so Salvation is a prison for metahumans. Salvation Run is a comic book where essentially all the metahumans were sent, kind of like the Negative Zone in Civil War from Marvel. But there's like a Lex Luthor versus in his cohorts versus the Joker in his cohorts, and they're all like fighting for like who's gonna lead this salvation thing. So they call it Salvation Run, knowing that Salvation was the end of Peacemaker. Will this spin off into? I don't think it'll be a Lex Luthor Joker universe here, but maybe a movie. That'd be a good way to kick send John Cena off, right, as Peacemaker, give him his own movie where he is in this place with a bunch of probably B-list villains, C-list villains from DC, and they have to figure out their way kind of out of it, like a reverse Suicide Squad, I guess, if you would, maybe. But it's interesting that they trademarked all this literally a couple weeks after the show wrapped up, so that kind of leans into the speculation that this could be a movie, could be a TV series. This is maybe the next step for Peacemaker in James Gunn's head, like you said. Like what characters is he pulling out to throw in this thing that he doesn't have plans for along the way? Now, you may be asking yourself, where's Batman in all this? The answer is we don't know. We don't know where Batman is. But this weekend, this week, Andy Muschietti has said he still intends to direct the movie, but updates are away. And I quote, "We have to wait a couple months to start talking about it. I screwed it up already." So it sounds like he wasn't supposed to say anything about this Batman Brave and the Bold movie, but he mentioned it. So I'm guessing maybe next year? Like if it's a couple months away, do you think it's like a 2026 discussion, production?
I always try to think of it from like first word off the lips to when we actually get to watch it.
Yeah.
And at least the positive side of the DC universe is when things get in production, it seems like, well, and also, okay, this isn't just DC. Since we're finally like post-COVID, like post-strikes, you know, things are humming along a little bit more now, which
there's money
helpful.
because as we talked about, like, you know, movies, like studios need money to prove out their, you know, success. So they got success off Superman. There's money flowing for projects. But
Yeah, my guess would be earliest 2028. I think the only thing that possibly gets Batman to us sooner is just possibly a mandate from somebody up top of just like, okay, this Pattinson Batman, he's like great and all, but we need like Batman proper. But I like the idea of holding like the next Batman back a little bit. It's kind of like the thing that we're looking forward to. You know, with the first kind of like phase of Marvel, we were all just waiting and waiting and waiting until we see until we see like this big team up. Then after phase 1, we're like waiting and waiting till we finally get a little bit of Thanos. I like the idea of we're actually waiting for a hero this time around. It's just like, oh, I can't wait until I finally see this Batman on screen. It's going to be so fun and crazy. So I guess we'll see. I mean, Warner Brothers looks like it's probably going to get sold, so there might be a new boss in charge at some point in time. That's what Gunn needs to be thinking about right now. Stop thinking about all the millions of scripts you're going to write. There's plenty of talented people in this town that can write them. You need to like be making a game plan for like, you're going to be getting a new boss. You're going to get sold. You're going to get torn apart. Like, you need to be strategizing.
Oh, well, I don't even think that. I think, well, we've got that coming up later, but like, I think Batman is a money maker, right? There's dollar signs wherever Batman goes. And I think it's one of those situations where, yes, they've given, the Batman Part 2 plenty of time, plenty of opportunities to work on their own pace, but that doesn't mean they can't have the other one ready to rock and roll. They already announced the movie. Go ahead and say, get it up and going. Like, that's you've given us a whole slate of movies without scripts when you started this, so you don't think you need a script to say, yeah, this is our game plan for everything along the way. So we'll see if they give us any more things next year. But if he's already like, hey, we've got a couple months to start talking about it, and he wasn't supposed to, my guess is there will probably be an announcement. DC likes to have their own events. Remember when they used to do the Fandome virtual event a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
So this might just be like a Monday. We get up one day and we're like, oh, here's our new movies and directors and stuff. So we'll see what PR has for us. But James Gunn over in Man of Tomorrowland, the sequel to Superman, he's teased the movie with piles of storyboards on paper. I didn't think people still storyboarded on paper, if I'm going to be honest with you. I thought these actually looks like cardstock too, like, or foam core. If you look at it a little closer. So
yeah, I mean, I know this is very much a Gunn thing. Even back when he was working on the Guardians movies, he would share and show his like storyboards, his just kind of like crude drawings. He strikes me as the type of guy, like I said a few minutes ago, where he has all of these things just floating around in his head, and he probably just goes through like these furious sessions on paper of just trying to get the shots out, you know, trying to get an idea. And since usually he's the one directing these movies, I don't know if he's literally behind the camera when he directs, or if he has like a cinematographer that he really likes. But I'm not surprised to see a pile of storyboards from Gunn.
Yeah, the thing I would notice in the back windows, it looks to be on the left. There's that's baby Joey, a little gray statue of baby Joey from Superman, is what it looks like. And then I can't really see what's in the window. I don't think it's the kaiju creature. It kind of looks like a Golduck from Pokemon, if I'm going to be completely honest. But you know, what could he be doing? I'm just surprised that he literally just has these in his house and not like locked down in the studio somewhere. But obviously, who might tell someone who's drawing on very, very thick foam core cardstock paper what's going on? Do you think he draws them up himself? Do you think this is all the rough storyboards that he does? Like,
yeah, for sure. I think maybe they possibly get passed to more of a professional live action storyboard artist who maybe fleshes them out a little bit more. But yeah, I would imagine a lot of these are his.
Okay. Well, and he also has confirmed online that he has plans for the DCU up to Man of Tomorrow. Obviously, we know this. And the DCU will go significantly further, but this is where he kind of stopped and like says nothing's guaranteed. And I think I don't think he's alluding to anything, but there is, obviously, as you mentioned, the sale of Warner Brothers Discovery, which we'll jump into, has been officially announced. Like, they are looking to sell, and they've already turned down an initial offer from Paramount for, like, I think it was like $60 billion. I think is what it was, maybe. But this keeps the DCU future in question while it's up for sale and what's going to happen kind of going forward. Number one, under this, will they quote unquote have efficiencies or management changes and remove the co-leadership? Do they need, will this new owner be like, well, we need Peter Safran and James Gunn? I saw one thing that said Paramount offered David Zaslav to be the president or whatever of this new merged thing between Warner Brothers Discovery, Paramount, Skydance. And, if they're working with David Zaslav, will they keep status quo because he's okay with it? I've also heard this Paramount Skydance, the Ellison family, I think, is in charge of it, has current ties to the current political organization, and James Gunn likes to ruffle the feathers of people who aren't aligned with that. Will they get rid of James Gunn because he doesn't play ball in that regard? I don't know. I truly don't know. I think, removing my bias, Mike, Superman is a success for the studio. Why would they change anything that's not a success kind of going forward is my 2 cents.
If anything is obvious what's going over at DC, it's James Gunn's DNA is all over it. If you remove him from it, you're basically left with something entirely different. Someone else is going to have to come in and pick up the pieces and run with a different vision. So I don't think that's going to happen. It's more of like, is somebody going to go in and like change the vision, the goals, the mandates for the studio? Like we want to compete with Marvel, which obviously has been done before and it didn't work out. They ran too fast to try to catch up. But there's a lot of hubris out there in Hollywood. I think people would easily make the same mistake again. I'm just trying to think of who I would want to buy Warner Brothers. First of all, it's not a good thing at all for this town. Like, we don't need to be losing another studio. Skydance and Paramount just merged, so now there's already one less buyer for content in this town. If this happens, you're kind of losing it again. Like, we already have like this giant like NBC, Universal, Peacock, DreamWorks like stack, which is just like one company, in a trench coat. We're essentially going to be making another one of these, and this is one of those companies that's so valuable. $60 billion is nothing to shake a stick at. There's really not a lot of people out there that can afford it, right? So if it's not Paramount, it could possibly be Netflix. I don't think it makes a lot of sense with their strategy and their audience for Netflix to buy them.
Netflix has said
Amazon Prime.
Netflix has said they don't want it. Amazon possibly. It's really interesting how hard Paramount is pushing for it. Like, why? Yeah. Literally, they just bought Discovery what felt like a year ago. Why would you? And they're gonna split them up again. Why would? I don't know. I don't understand the need to sell so quickly. I miss.
Yeah, well, I was hearing that Zaslav has these clauses in his contract where he gets paid for certain achievements that he's able to pull off. So if he is able to split the company into two parts and back into like Discovery Warner Brothers, he actually gets a payday for doing that. He'll get another payday for selling each of these parts off. So it's almost like in his best interest to like split the company first, but then there's also buyers out there that have very hungry appetite, and they're like, no, just sell it to us now. You don't have to split it up just yet. So I think it's up to Zaslav to figure it out. But I just Googled it. He's like 65 years old. I know the ultra wealthy don't retire at the same time like the rest of us, but I think it's time, Zaslav, just like sell it off, take your money, and I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know what these mid 60-year-olds do with all of their money, but just go do something. Stay away from the media.
I bet there's an island. I bet there's an island he goes to pretty frequently.
Yeah, go buy an island.
No,
you know?
not that. He's
know.
not buying his own island. He's going to a different island. That's already
Invent an island. Get
Yeah.
some kryptonite. Throw it in the ocean. Make your own island.
Yeah.
If I had to think of a company to buy it, this is ludicrous. It would not happen, but it's kind of the funniest, safest option in my head. I don't even know if they're worth this much to make it happen. I think it would be so funny if Roku TV bought Warner Brothers, because it's like a technology / media company. It would just make them bigger. They're not really buying that much content to begin with. I just want somebody to buy it that is going to keep Hollywood the same number of studios. I don't want it to fall into somebody else's hands. So I'm just like, Roku, that'd be so funny. Just turn on Roku TV, see a Warner Brothers logo somewhere. That's my pitch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those situations we talked about, like, even with, we were happy that Marvel was able to get the stuff from Fox, but it decreased the output of content. I did see an article, the SAG, after both East and West are going to be opposing this because it, consolidates, reduces roles, or not SAG after it, the other one, the Writers Guild East West.
Well,
sorry,
Chris, I'm sad to report Roku's only worth $14 billion. Not quite to the $60 billion, but when Amazon bought Whole Foods, their valuation went up so much that paid for the sale itself. So think how much more Roku would be worth if they somehow absorbed Warner Brothers. I don't know how you make it happen, but let's.
Yeah, I don't. That seems like a downgrade rather than an upgrade for them. But but on the flip side of this, to probably offset or increase stock prices, Mike, I don't know, this may be a decrease. I didn't really like HBO Max has raised prices across all their plans. Their cheapest basic with ads is $11. Their standard is now $18.50, which is more than Netflix, I think. And the premium HBO Max is now $23. I think this is like the fourth streamer, if not fifth, this year to raise prices.
Maybe. I believe we have standard just like 1080p, and premium is probably like 4K, higher bitrate or something like that.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I've actually even canceled Disney Plus. That's how far off of subscription services I've gone this year.
Well, and this is a great time to remind people, because every time I see these announcements, I just see people in the comments going like, oh my God, they're just reinventing cable. Like, listen, you have the freedom to freely cancel these every single month and sign up every other month. You can slash the price of every streaming service by 50% if you only subscribe for 6 months. Like, you have that freedom. All of you people were born after a time in which there was like hard contracts. Like, my dad would have to get in his truck and drive down to the cable office and yell at somebody to get them to lower the price. And they would just laugh at you, like, you're in a contract. We don't care what you say. And then you just have to keep it was brutal before. Just be happy that you have this like freedom, just nonchalantly. You almost had the ability to cancel with the click of a button. I think that was recently passed somewhere, but
California.
then overturned.
Yeah.
So it's like you briefly had the ability to like just click a button. It was so easy. You didn't have to do anything. So just be happy you still have that. Have that power.
I'm going to be on the other side of this, because I'd say don't be complacent with this. I say fuck it all, pirate it all. Like, I literally, yes, we can cancel and it's different than cable. I get that, but like, I'm at the same time, I'm like, this, like, all this price is increasing for what? What are you getting extra out of this? Is my question. Like, are they giving you more content? Are you able to watch more? Amazon Prime gives me better quality shows, and it's way cheaper than all this because it's included with our other stuff as well. So I'm on the flip side. I'm like, if you want to keep artificially raising prices, that's fine. I'm just gonna find other ways to watch things without paying at the end of the day. And I suggest other people find those things. There are ways to do that online without giving yourself viruses, of course. But to me, it's disappointing that this is yet again another one. Like when Disney Plus raised their price, was it like $2 or $3? It was right before our renewal, and I was like, just cancel it. We don't use it enough. Our house doesn't use enough. I know other houses may use enough to justify the price. We don't use enough to justify the price. So we kicked it to the curb. And HBO Max, if you weren't included with my phone subscription, I would cancel you as well. But you can't cancel something that's free, Mike. Found that out the hard way. Right now, my wife is upstairs rewatching Stranger Things from season 1 because of season 5 coming up within a month. And it was announced this week that the series finale, the final episodes, I think it's a 2-hour final episode that comes out on New Year's Eve, will also get a theatrical release at the same time as the internet release. So on December 31st and January 1st, there will have showings for the Stranger Things series finale in theaters. There's about 350 theaters that will screen it as well.
I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think we've talked about Stranger Things since the last time we were talking about these theoretical 90-minute run times, but those have all been officially reduced.
Yeah.
I think the episodes are kind of more closely to hour-ish time marks.
Is the finale, is that 2 episodes that last day, or one thing?
I know it's broken up into thirds, so I don't know.
But it's not.
It's
not even thirds is the problem.
So I'm not entirely sure. But if they're going to be screening it in theaters, I can't imagine it bloats.
It is
3 hours.
So the finale is one day, and that is December 31st, Chapter 8, and this is actually. I'm going to disagree with you. This is actually confirmed to be 2 hours on this finale. Now, mind you, it's the last episode. It can be 2 hours. That's fine. But the theater screenings do show 2 hours for this movie. And so I'm guessing maybe an hour and a half with credits.
Maybe. I think this will be fun for a lot of people. I am committed to the home enjoyment. I've experienced the entire series on my couch, and I will finish the series on my couch.
Yeah, I think it's I think it was like a month ago. I think president of content or marketing or something at Netflix was like, this show's always been on streaming. We're never going to put it in theaters, and it came the other way. And mind you, it's not like everywhere, but it is for those people who are diehard Stranger Things fans who do want to go watch it on a big screen and maybe don't have the home luxury to watch it. Maybe it's on a smaller TV. I think it'd be fun. It's only just for the 31st and the 1st, so I think it's really cool. But I agree with you. It's not something we're going to be doing here. Along the way, I did keep seeing it's going to be a bunch of 30-year-old people saying your friends don't lie to each other over and over again this season because it's been so long since the last one. But but I was dedicated to watch all of it before I guess Thanksgiving. We just mentioned this because it was on my mind. Fallout Season 2 is coming to Amazon December 17th. Mike, I'm so excited for this. I thought it was going to be longer wait, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I thought Fallout would take longer to get here.
I'm excited. There is a Shuttered now discount movie theater about 15 minutes away from our place. That was a shooting location for this season. They turned it into a rinky-dink casino. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see that on the screen. Excited that it seems like at least part of it was filmed out here. I mean, I know it takes place the first season, at least in the SoCal wasteland. Yep. But they're supposed to be moving to Vegas. But we've been watching CSI here at our house, and that's all filmed out here too. And that's supposed to be in Las Vegas. So it is tried and true a tradition for LA to double as Vegas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like I said, like you mentioned it, this new one is supposed to be after the new Vegas kind of storyline in the from the games. It's going to be, I looked it up. The first one came out April of 24. So coming out, December of 25 is pretty good for a show they didn't have greenlit a second season immediately. It will also, unlike the first season, be weekly releases, not all at once like the original one was. So it sounds like they feel the success will essentially get people to have a water cooler show through December, January, February.
I had to look because I wasn't sure. I think it was renewed for a third season at the same time. Yes. It was renewed for a second season. So I think that one's already in. Yeah, it looks like it says it's in production already. So we could be seeing maybe every December. Yeah. We're gonna be getting some Fallout maybe.
I like it. One of the things I will tell people if they hadn't had it, Arizona Tea did a sparkling Fallout teas for this with 3 flavors, and they actually have 3 more flavors. So they have 6 total flavors for this upcoming release to get. So I'm gonna grab me some more of those because they were very good. They were really, really good. I really like the flavors of them. And Fallout, I don't think there's been a new game lately as well, but I feel like there's going to be probably an announcement at the December Game Awards.
They just had some sort of like Fallout Day announcement this week.
That was
this,
yeah.
They announced a like another anniversary edition of Fallout 4, which is hilarious. It's starting to turn into like a Skyrim situation.
Well, it's the same. It's the same company, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Bethesda, yeah, isn't it? Yeah. So it's like it's the same game that I just finished playing, but I think all of the expansions are included in it, which I didn't even know there was expansions like DLC. Obviously, there's DLC for the game because I know it's like a big like modding community type of game, but I didn't know that there's literally new like locations that were added to the game. If I would have known that, it would have been nice to get this anniversary edition like a year ago, because then they have like a whole one called like Nuka World, where it's like a theme park that exists in the Fallout universe, and I was like, oh man, that would have been fun to explore.
Yeah, I think I think that one Nuka World is part of like that modding, because the modding didn't come out within a release. That was like a year, because I bought Fallout 4 and I played through some of it. I hate building things in games like this and the what's it, Elder Scrolls. I'm like, I hate the home ownership portions of it, but it is the 10-year anniversary this year of this game. So hopefully they do that.
You got your own home to worry about.
Yeah, I really do.
You shouldn't have to worry about a digital.
I wish you could just turn it off. Like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to play the game, or do you want to like tend your gardens? I'm like, I don't want to fucking tend gardens. Thank
you. Chris, I'm looking at the show notes here, and I scrolled past the next topic, and it was like a jump scare to me. I was like, wait, what? Wait, we're talking about this today? It scared me. It's the holiday season to be spooked, so.
Yes, is it because you're scared of Transformers? Is that what?
Yeah, I just saw the word Transformers. I was like, oh, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, Michael Bay is back. No, I'm kidding. This week it has been announced from Robert Kirkman. He's a TVMA rated Energon Universe series. And Energon Universe is Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals all together in the same universe. So instead of getting that live action G.I. Joe Transformers crossover we were threatened with at the end of Rise of the Beast, they're going to do it in animated, which is based on a comic book which has already been out. Robert Kirkman, obviously known for Invincible, Walking Dead, other adult-rated TVMA things, and this series, Energon Universe, is from the Image Comics universe, but it's also got Joe Henderson, who did Lucifer, as a writer and director of the show as well. So pretty excited about this, I'm going to be completely honest, that they found a way to animate Transformers G.I. Joe. I'm less familiar with Void Rivals because it's a newer thing.
Yeah, I Googled it the second you said the word, and I was looking at the images, expecting to kind of see like maybe old kind of like retro animation still frames.
Yeah.
And I was only seeing like these modern like comic book covers. I was like, what's going on here? So as a industrious internet enthusiast, I changed my search from Void Rivals to what is Void Rivals, yeah. and the overview tells me it is a space opera comic series from Skybound Entertainment, written by Robert Kirkman,
yes.
Which features a surprise crossover with the Transformers universe, forming the foundation of the quote Energon universe. So this is kind of a fun thing that this Void Rivals is a new thing.
Yes.
Kind of seemed to be almost, I don't know if it was originally constructed as glue to stick into these other things, or they just started writing the comic book and go like, hey, wouldn't it be like kind of fun if like we threw a Transformers in this issue?
Well, it's all from, so I've read Void Rivals. It's in issue 1. So issue 1 actually starts with Cybertron and Jetfire. Like he's like found. So like it is, I would say Image has the Transformers, G.I. Joe, and I think Mask was in this as well. All these 80s things, I think they had them, and they actually started. To me, it is, yes, Robert Kirkman knew he had these toys, literal toys, in his toy box to play with, and did like a slow burn to kind of put them all together along the way.
Well, I love Invincible, so if Kirkman's idea is to just kind of do more Invincible style like production with other IP, I'm down for it.
Yeah,
This could be fun.
it is very much not like this is not your 80s Transformers. It's not like there's a the Transformers they get killed off. They die in pretty gruesome ways in this book. And it's pretty fun. Like to me this is a fun, again, like you said, it's a literal toys in a sandbox playing together in new ways that we didn't have. I collect the Beast Wars, as we talked about Beast Wars, because obviously I grew up with Beast Wars. I collect the Beast Wars re-releases they've been doing. I haven't had any a couple of years, but next to them, like, they always released an Energon universe version of a character, and because over the last few years, so it's been fun to see these Energon universe, like small variations to make them fit in there. It's not the original 80s stuff. So pretty excited about this to dive into, I guess, right? Like, again, like I said, Robert Kirkman's great. They're gonna be pulling in all these stuff. I think I need to look up, because they had some other spinoffs, because I remember Mask for some reason, and I don't remember why I remember Mask in here. But I spent way too much time in the toy aisle today at Walmart, Mike, looking at the new Power Rangers reignition toys. Have you heard about these at all? Do you remember the Power Rangers that used to have the head flippers back in the...
Oh, yeah.
So they re-released those under this reignition series.
That's fun.
But they had all the characters except the girl characters. I'm like, this is stupid. I want all 5 or I'm going home. And then I look right below it, and they had all the original individual Transformers build a Zord, like the Zords, the individual Zords, except for the Pink Rangers. I'm like, I'm not buying 4 of the 5. I want all 5 of them. And I looked way too long for these. But anyway, love Transformers. Not much of a G.I. Joe person, but I'm excited about this show coming out. It's not got a home yet, but if you were to take a bet, Mike, where do you think Robert Kirkman's shows go to live?
Prime.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah, so they'll do TVMA on Prime, and he'll have his show over there, hopefully. Surprising news to Mike, another spooky thing. Fantastic Four: First Steps is not on streaming. Ooh, no, it's coming November 5th, which is a lot later than I thought it would. I thought they'd try to hit at least October, but here we are. I'm like, oh, that'll be about a week away. So in a week and a half, you can watch Fantastic Four: First Steps on Disney Plus. They will also include the IMAX version as well, which is one of my favorite things about Disney Plus that I will miss, as I don't have it anymore. But if you're very much, you don't know what to do in the meantime, you can enjoy a 10-hour video of The Thing waiting around in the Fantastic Four kitchen that Marvel put on YouTube, where he just kind of moves around a little bit and breathes.
I would love to know how often those like long loop videos accidentally make money, right? Because obviously, I think only extremely minor amount of the population is going to sit down with The Thing for 10 hours. But I feel like somebody has to, and that watch time adds up. So I wonder how much money that's made.
Well, you can turn on. It's got ambient noise. You can actually hear the kitchen and hums of the stuff going on. But I'm really disappointed. Like, there's no music. Like this is something that I put on with music in the background, not just The Thing standing in a goddamn kitchen for 10 hours. Like, I'm looking next to it. I literally have my favorite YouTube channel right now, Chill City FM. And it's essentially 80s synthwave music, but it's the Stranger Things synthwave channel I was watching. It's 2 hours and 13 minutes. I love it. But like, there's no music here, so why the fuck am I gonna watch a little rock dude sitting around here? I don't know, but either way, Disney Fantastic Four: First Steps, Disney Plus, November 5th. I got my Steelbook in the other day, like about 2 weeks ago, and the Amazon version was a little pricier, but it came with a comic book for the series, so it was fun to have that. All right, moving into the weirdest topic for the week, and our last topic for the day: The Hunt for Ben Solo, a Star Wars movie that has been revealed, and fans have immediately glommed onto it. And I say fans because I'm not sure who the biggest Ben Solo / Kylo Ren fans are in the world. This is news to me that there's like a cult following of this character. But
it is exhausting and entertaining being a Star Wars fan at the same time. Just seeing what goes on out there in the world, because the tenor and tone of the fan base of Star Wars. See, I think this is what the problem is when you take a franchise like so wide, right? They wanted everybody in the world to be a Star Wars fan, and they pumped out so much content. Now they've garnered so many different people on this planet. Everybody kind of has their own opinion and their own wants, and it's like, oh, the loudest mouth gets fed is kind of like the feeling I'm getting right now.
Well, number one, I disagree with Star Wars. They will do anything to not do what the fans want. Okay, I think they've proven that with the. While we disagree on The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, I believe we agree on. Everyone can agree on that's an awful movie. It's just an awful film. So they didn't do anyone favors by bringing J.J. Abrams back and telling an entirely different story about the Emperor returning somehow. Now, with this is very, like, again, I always say nobody hates Star Wars more than a Star Wars fan. So the fact to hear that there are Star Wars fans who want more Kylo Ren is interesting to me. So I'm going to lay out some facts, and then what we know at this time, and then we can kind of discuss from there. How about that? So Adam Driver and director Steven Soderbergh, not like some random person off the street, Steven Soderbergh, were denied a follow-up Star Wars movie by Disney executives. That's the sum of this. The movie was written, finalized, had a shoot date ready to go. Like, they weren't actually doing the press yet. They were like, here's when we want to film this. Here's our ideas. From the Star Wars team, Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, and Carrie Beck. And they went to Alan Bergman and Bob Iger, and like, we want to make this movie. Here's everything. It's already done. Script's approved. No guesses. This is like, we actually want to do this, and this is how it would fit. They both said, no, we don't see how Ben Solo is alive. And that was it. So,
I mean, honestly, that a lot of respect to that decision, right? To have so many people say, we want to make this, we want to move forward. We feel like the energy there is with the audience. Adam Driver is at the height of his powers. We want to get this going. And then it takes just one person in the room and go, I saw this man die on camera, sacrifice his life to save Rey. Let's not be idiots here. I have a lot of respect for that move. Now, I'm not saying like a really talented screenwriter I couldn't find a way to bring him back, but a lot of respect. It's like, no,
I agree. I think this, like, at the time, energy around Star Wars was at its worst. Right? Like, again, bringing the Emperor back, probably the worst decision they made in a long time. But I believe in Dave Filoni. And that is where I set my thing. If he had a way to do it in the Star Wars canon, Ahsoka died in Rebels and they brought her back and no one bitched. Because they found a way to do that with the World Between Worlds, which they pulled into the live action stuff. I believe in Dave Filoni. Everybody else, I don't know. Kathleen Kennedy, whatever. She's done well. Carrie Beck, don't know her. I couldn't pinpoint her name to anything like that. But this is so interesting that, they got Steven Soderbergh and his wife, Jules Asner, who wrote, obviously we have here Logan Lucky. They hired Scott Burns, who the notes say was paid more than any other screenwriter in Lucasfilm history to complete a screenplay for this. To go that far to get denied is the interesting part to me. Like, they went 99% of the way, and that last 1%, the people who actually had the power to pull the plug or plug it in said no. And yet here we have had a lot more stuff like the not Starfighter, what was it? The Rogue Squadron movie be announced. They even made a clip with the director. I can't think of her name. Wonder Woman, the lady who crashed and burned Wonder Woman.
Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins. They even did a video with her about how doing movies with the growing up in the Air Force, stuff like that. Like they killed that movie, but they couldn't even get this one at least a chance. Is interesting to me. I don't care which way they went. They probably made the best decision here. But like, I'm baffled that they would turn down something that was 99% done and they've greenlit stuff that's 0% done because of the names attached to it.
Yeah. I have to say, I am extremely curious. I'd love to read the screenplay, right? And also, I don't want to peg Soderbergh as only a heist movie guy, but he made Ocean's movies, and then also, what was it, Logan? I think he did Logan Lucky.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Right?
I have Logan Lucky. Yeah.
And that was a heist movie. And, we had a couple episode arc, or maybe it was just one episode in the first season of Andor that was a heist. If anybody out there wants to write me a Star Wars heist movie, oh, that sounds amazing. Absolutely. I would love that. Maybe The Last Starfighter is that'll be really fun. I don't know. But Ben Solo's dead. And honestly, I think for the future of Star Wars, which is kind of what you got to look at here, this is a very big aircraft carrier that shouldn't just be like pivoting all willy-nilly. I think you need to kind of like step back and rethink things. I really like Adam Driver. Like, honestly, his character in Kylo Ren was one of the bright spots in these movies. But this whole discussion is always like a reminder to me of just like, oh, there's more bad Star Wars than good Star Wars, in my opinion. If you discount runtime, right, of the TV shows, because now since they've been serialized and television, now there's so many more physical hours of Star Wars. So maybe if you start looking at it that way, maybe technically minute by minute, there's more good Star Wars than bad Star Wars. But if you're just looking at it like as singular, like titles on a wall, like there's more bad than good, which is kind of how I feel. And I think there needs to be like serious sit down discussions that I hope Filoni has had, right? What is the future? Because he's doing an interesting job. Well, I'll say interesting, kind of mining his Clone Wars universe of just I now get to make all my dreams come true. All of these animated stories that I've had in my head, I finally get to turn them into real life. But at some point in time, we have to close that chapter and move forward. And I think moving forward means like leaving all of these characters behind. Leave absolutely everything behind. Let's find a way to start.
You're gonna get Rey. The problem is you're gonna get Rey regardless.
No, I don't want Rey. Well, give me Gosling. Maybe the Starfighter movie is gonna be so good, everyone's gonna love it, and then we can just move forward with Ryan Gosling.
They're not gonna do. They're not gonna do that. Just like they didn't do that with Rogue One. Like it's not possible. Like with that. Now I disagree with you. I think there's like less bad Star Wars. There's middle Star Wars. I disagree. There's only good and bad. There's more middle Star Wars than there is probably good Star Wars, and there's not that bad Star Wars. But the whole thing with this gave me I wouldn't say flashbacks. It is one of those situations. Well, I'm going to compare it to Star Trek. Do you remember Star Trek 2 at the end of it? What happens at the end of The Wrath of Khan, Mike? Do you remember?
We have to go find Spock.
No. Wrong. He dies at the end of 2 is when Spock dies and they send his body out, right? So it's all said and done. But Star Trek 3 is the search for Spock, which is essentially where they go find his body and bring him back to life, which sounds exactly very similar to this. The hunt for Ben Solo, the search for Spock, bringing him back to life sounds very, very parallel with that. Now, I didn't know that. I'm looking at the response for this. It says it's received generally positive reviews from critics. However, the even-numbered Star Trek movies are regarded as the must-watches. The odds are less so. So it is one of those films that did not land. So I would see, to me, the parallel here is they're trying to do a search for Spock, which didn't land as well as the other ones did. So they could probably skip it and not miss that out at the end of the day. I'm interested to see where Star Wars does go, because there obviously is opportunity moving forward, but I think you're always going to have Rey. Now, she's maybe not the main character. I don't think she should be the main character, but I think her presence needs to kind of be there to carry some of that history forward, because no one else, I mean, like I said, Star Wars New Hope 50 years is in 2 years. Where does that, like, you have to carry some of that forward to say, like, don't repeat the mistakes of the past, literally. Like, this is like a figurative in the movie, but also literally don't do what the last 3 movies did. do something different, and I think we can be successful. So I don't know what that looks like, but I agree with you. That has to go forward and not do the same things again.
I mean, if I recall, because I can't get off the fact of bringing a character back from life.
Yep.
And if I recall correctly, I didn't watch these episodes myself, but I did a lot of Clone Wars like recaps when a lot of this live action stuff was coming around. And if I recall, like bringing Ahsoka back to life,
that's Rebels.
It was like
that's a whole different show. That's actually not even Clone Wars.
But it was a whole thing, wasn't it? Like you said, they had to like commune with like the afterlife. There was like this whole different lore within the Star Wars universe that they had to visualize on screen. Or was she just alive?
Well, essentially they came back and they found like in the next, it was like season 2, she fought Darth Vader and was allegedly killed. And I think in an episode they showed like in season 3 the world between worlds and how that's where she landed, and they, you know, it was essentially giving her a second chance. I don't know. I've never seen Rebels. I didn't watch it all the way through. So for me, it's not, to me, it's a little different, but that's kind of what they've leaned into a little more with the Ahsoka show, obviously, dealing with her experiences with that. And coming back is kind of essentially what, like a Gandalf the White situation. You know, she's all in white robes, like doing like when Gandalf died and he was brought back. It's essentially a Gandalf the White situation in Star Wars world.
In my personal opinion, I feel like it's a type of thing that you only get to do once. And if you're doing it in an animated universe, I feel like you're giving it a little bit more flexibility, right? Because you're already making it feel more fantastical than it is, because every character is not real. It's an animated character, so we can kind of suspend our disbelief a little bit more. Also, you know, you're just kind of watching this on your TV, and like, you know, there's nobody you know, out there in a theater seat like scrutinizing it.
Well, to your point, number one, I don't think they had plans for any of this to ever hit our live action when they were doing Rebels, right? Rebels was its own thing. That was the end. That was going to be the end of it. We weren't going to see Ahsoka in live action. All these TV shows, live action shows, came out much later, and I don't think they had plans at that time to do that. Probably would have been differently in retrospect. They would have had that. Number two, you know, again, I think your take on it is fine. I don't know if that's the way they're going to go. I need to read the script to see how they bring this person back to life. How do they bring someone back to life?
I would love to read it,
because I don't think it's the same thing.
Do you know what movie franchise I can't stop thinking of right now when it comes to bringing people back to life?
It's Fast and Furious. It's Fast and Furious, right?
No, it's the Kingsman universe.
Oh,
I mean, bringing back somebody who was literally shot in the head in the sequel absolutely took me out of it, ruined it for me. Once you remove the stake of death from your franchise, even if like you have to get to the person in a certain amount of minutes or whatever, even if you have to contrive a whole scenario to do it, once you know that death isn't real, I mean, we've built up this idea that it's not real in the Star Wars universe, but they're a ghost. You know, we don't even really know philosophically like if that's actually Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, or is this just the Force appearing to you as like somebody who you've met before. You know, there's a whole spiritual aspect, afterlife aspect part of it, right? But it's just like once you actually, the character's back in the flesh on the screen, I feel like you've kind of jumped the shark in a way a little bit. So I am absolutely wanting to read the script, but I'm also supporting not making this movie.
Well, I think I don't think it'll happen. The whole question comes down to is, where do these people with all this money to fly a banner for Save the Hunt for Ben Solo and buy a billboard in Times Square come from? I don't know where these people come from. Yeah. I've never seen this online before in all the years of doing our show notes. No one has been we really need Ben Solo back.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, right, it's like coordinated to all happen in the same week. This really lends credence to the theory that this is at least studio or talent organized in a way. Now, I don't think Bob Iger necessarily signed off on a banner to fly over.
Yeah, but he was the one who turned it down. I don't think he's part of this at all.
Exactly. So I think maybe it was like maybe Soderbergh decided to do it, or maybe like you said, once these NDAs expired, maybe there's just like someone with some cash rolling around in their pocket.
Is this coming out of number one, there's a lot of people online, a very, very negative portion of the internet who are like, we hate Kathleen Kennedy, and we know, she's the worst, and we're blaming this on her, even though it was her idea. Or like, I don't think Adam Driver or Steven Soderbergh give two shits about this. I think they're fine in their careers without this. And so where are these quote unquote fans coming from, and where's the funding coming from? Because it's giving me Save the Snyderverse vibes, right? When they flew the banner over San Diego Comic-Con, they probably had banners downtown. Like, what is this, and where's it coming from? Because at the end of the day, none of this is going to happen. We can sit here and theorize all fucking day, but none of this is actually going to come to fruition. But I'm blown out of my mind that like you said, it popped up overnight and has just been like huge. And
I didn't realize until we were talking about it here on the show that it was so close to getting made. It literally just needed one person to just whisper the words yes. Yeah. And this movie probably would be out already, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It seems like
this is like 2022 or 22, I think is what they said they were talking about.
We would already be living in the wake of Ben Solo coming back to life.
Yeah.
But who knows? The Star Wars universe has pivoted so much since it started airing on Disney Plus. Who knows? Maybe
I think it's going back.
Next CEO of Disney, maybe the next CEO of Disney gets this pitch and it actually comes to life.
I don't think we're gonna get, other than Ahsoka season 2. There will never be another. We are not getting another live action Star Wars show on Disney Plus.
Oh wow! Someone clip it. Someone clip what he said.
I mean,
and we'll bring it back up.
I mean, tell me what's in the works. Like, nothing is in the works. They canceled the Acolyte despite having the numbers to prove it was, a streaming success. Now, there's no financial success on streaming numbers. So, like, I really think they're after Dave Filoni gets his Ahsoka season 2 and ties it into potentially his movie if The Mandalorian Grogu makes money, we're done with streaming Star Wars for a while. So, which is okay. I think that's fine. I think they tried it, didn't really work out. Some hits, some misses, and now we're going the other direction. I think we're only going to get theatrical going forward. And you know what I want more than anything back in the stores? I want lightsabers back in the stores, Mike. I want to go buy lightsabers. I sent Mike the coolest advent calendar I've seen this year. And it was Star Wars lightsaber hilts. That you actually buy this thing, and every day up through Christmas you open up a different random Star Wars lightsaber hilt in a display case. And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was fun.
The Advent calendar universe is really funny to me because it's kind of like, instead of blind boxes, let's just cobble like 24 things together in one singular box. I'm going through the Simpsons Halloween Advent calendar.
How does Halloween have an Advent calendar? That's not even Advent.
Because it's Simpsons. Because it's the Treehouse of Horror themed.
Oh my gosh.
Some of them have been pretty cool. Some of them have been like less than maybe worth it. But the whole box, I mean, if you divide up the 30.
What are you going to do with them when it's done? Do you put them up?
I'm going to put them on my desk. I'm going to stick them all around.
Because I bought
all these, like, I'm going to have Homer as a donut. I'm going to have a little twin Bart. It's going to be great.
I got the Christmas Vacation ones last year from Costco and opened them up every day. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the fuck any of that stuff is. I'm pretty sure I might have thrown it away when I was done. I'm like, this is fun, but these are kind of awful.
I think I remember that Advent calendar. And wasn't it like kind of shitty where like most of the stuff was just like generic, just like Christmas trinkets, and then every once in a while you might get something that was actually in the movie?
No, it was
like
stuff
a
from
little like station wagon.
No, we got the station wagon and like the mugs, and they had the characters and stuff like that. It was fine, but it was just like, I don't know what to do with all these little tchotchkes. Like what do I do with them at the end of the day? Like, where do I keep them? Where do I put them?
Not a big tchotchke guy, but I feel like I can make an exception for Simpsons.
I will say, well, the Simpsons is coming to Fortnite next season. The whole month of
I saw that.
Is wild.
I might have to download it just so I can like freely
explore.
Can I freely roam around a map without having somebody like destroy me with like some sort of weapon? Is there like is there a version of the game kind of like where I can just do that?
Essentially Fortnite has become you can build your own games and maps and stuff and enjoy the current map as is. Yes, so they do have that.
Okay. Remind me when it drops, because I'm not going to remember. Remind me when I can download Fortnite and just run around Springfield.
November 1st, literally next weekend. So I'll remind you. But I did see what I will say before you get. My wife is a Swiftie, and I did see one advent calendar thing I showed her, which is cool. It's a bunch of charms and a bracelet. So as you go through the advent calendar, you get new charms for your bracelet, and at the end of it, you actually have a full bracelet full of charms. And I'm like, that's something you can wear. That's a cool advent calendar because you're not just throwing shit away.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not throwing it away at the end of the day. So, anyways, the hunt for Ben Solo, we found it. It's in the trash. Game over. We've done it. Mike, we've gone over. I'm sorry to keep you, but I'm going to let you get going. If people want to know what you're up to, where can they find you at, bub?
Oh, they can find my webcomics at pickledcomics.com and liferewardsrisk.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, find me on Instagram, Valdan87, or video games of the same name, same as Battlefield 6. If you want to catch me there, if people want to know more about the show, where we got all these shows, where we got all this news about the hunt for Ben Solo that we didn't talk about because it's too much to read. Where can they get all them good show notes at?
Yes, head on over to superheroslate.com. You can find the URL flying behind a plane wherever you might live. Just look up. It's right there. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. We got merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. What do you think brings Ben Solo back to life? I could see maybe a little bit of a pitch if it was like witches, right? Because at least you're not bringing them like back to life as normal. You know, they're kind of like cursed in a way. Maybe you have to like hunt for a way to remove the curse, but then you're leaning a lot into this magic type of thing. Well, I don't know. Do you like the witch idea?
Did his grandpa Darth Vader turn to the dark side because he thought he could bring people back from life? We don't need to be doing this in this movie. That just destroys the one sacrifice he made the whole show. Anyway,
that's
continue.
true. But we love hearing from you, and we love our super fans. So if you want to be a super fan of the show, just share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week.